Welcome back to Bergisch land on FS19. Why the hell are you playing FS19, you ask? Maze Plus. Real seasons. Meh. Maze Plus, in particular. We are up at the sawmill on here. I have progressed a few days, I think, since the last video that you will have seen. She's going to slow down time for a bit. And we've put a fair bit of wood through the lumber mill, and it's produced a disappointing amount of wood chips. So if you're new to the series, I use wood chips for bedding for the cows, but it's produced a heck of a lot of empty pallets that we need to sell, and a lot of wrapped beams that we need to sell. And my plan is to sell all of these and buy an actual wood chipper, and then through the rest of the winter get our big stockpile of wood chips sorted. I am not going to load all of those up on camera. That is going to be massively painful. What I am going to do is load up the beams and get those sold in the intro. If you've been watching this series, you will have seen me struggle to find something that, well, I should have only picked up one of those, that will take these packs of wrapped beams, because they're really long and none of the trailers that I've bought will actually fit them. So we've brought up the lumber truck today because that doesn't have a back. My concern with this is that these might be too heavy and we may end up not having any steering. So we'll see. And the shuttle on FS19 with VCA, I think I'm using to get the shuttle on here, is not as nice as the shuttle built in to FS22. Let's see what happens when we load one of these very wobbly pallets up. The first problem we have is trying to not crash into the building. And then, okay. We're going to have to do a few trips, I think. But it looks like it might work. Obviously this big bag lifter is not probably the desired way to pick, well, the designed way to pick these up, but it works. Blame Mr. CDP for my love of using the big bag lifter for picking things up that it is not designed for. I generally don't use it for lumber, but for these kind of things, yes. It is very, very unhappy. I think we might have an issue there. Time to improvise and adapt. Because I don't think the mouse has gone to sleep. There we go. Don't think the front loader is strappable. So can we use that? To hold those down. There we go. It's fine. Let's see if it's actually drivable. We'll go get this load sold, and then I think the rest of this I'm going to do off camera. Let's switch the tractor off because we're going to be a while, because it's a fair drive. It's a safe load, right? Don't need more than one strap over that. Fine. We're good. Yeah, we've only got to drive half the length of the map, I think. It's certainly maybe it's not a better load than what I did before. Maybe we'll use the low loader trailer for the next load. Yeah, I'm not playing this as much. I'm really getting into FS22, but until we get Maze Plus, this series is going to stay alive, just about, I think. I got stuck in the kind of, it's the winter, I've got to do forestry. I'm doing lots of forestry on Survival Challenge. I don't want to do forestry on FS19. And particularly as actually what's happened is I've done lots of forestry and I've made lots of products that I've got to sell, but not the wood chip that I want for my animals. And it's the change in plan. The big plus is these products sell for a lot of money. So we'll get down to the lumber mill. I'll sell the first two and then we'll get stuck into a time lapse. When I'm at the lumber mill, I'll show you, or the lumber sell point, I'll show you what I'm going to buy as well as a wood chipper. Because we have lots of options because it's FS19, which is cool. You wouldn't want that overtaking you, would you? I don't think I'd want to be behind that load. So the other reason for using this is obviously it's quite a fast truck. But yeah, it's not ideal. I think you probably want a lorry flatbed. I think that would be the way to do this, like a lorry bale trailer or something. That would be big enough to load them up onto. But I'm not planning to do any more with that sawmill. I kind of had enough of feeding it lots of trees and getting very few wood chips, and it's the reason that I'm using it is to get wood chips. So let's see what we get for these. 6 grand. So we've got another load and a half like that, so we're going to get another 9 grand off of those, which is pretty cool, I think. And then those pallets are going to be worth a fortune, but they're going to take ages to sell. May do that at the end of the video. Let's just finish turning around. We go into forestry. This is the guy I'm planning to buy. The Trex 900 wood chipper. It's an awesome wood chipper. It needs a AT runner trailer, so I think they're just under trailers. And actually what I was thinking about getting, I think we'll be able to afford it, is the Iveco IT runner. I think that should be quite a cool combo, but you'll see when I get around to buying it in a bit. Let's get some stuff sold. So time lapse time. I decided to shortcut this a little bit and do most of the loading off camera, and I've also sold pretty much all of the pallets and we've made a shed load of cash, and this is the last little bit. This was so painful. I'm never touching that lumber mill again, ever. But we have made about 50,000 euros out of selling all those pallets, so I totally forgot about the Iveco truck because there was a big gap in recording this, so I brought the IT runner trailer. And that will be perfect for this. It's probably more sensible. Excuse me a second. Needed to sneeze. Awesome driving there by me, obviously. So we are back at the farm and we're going to do a little bit of wood chipping. The trailer for the wood chips is actually quite full, so we're not going to need a huge amount, but I just want to have a play with this thing. This thing is awesome. I've used it before. I used it on my Sick Crashes series, and I used it before that as well. It's a really, really good wood chipper. We're just going to top up the cow pen with wood chips and then cut a couple of trees down and get some wood chips made, and this is going to be so much better than doing the lumber mill because that was a lot of work. Also means we can bring the telly truck back over to the farm. I should have done that before on the way back, but I just came straight back because I was fed up of selling those damn pallets. Just going to cut this log up, and I think the trailer's pretty much full already. Some of these we can pick up by hand, some we're going to need to use the FS19 for. So just move the doits out of the way and get these into the chipper. I'm just going to chip stuff as I go. I think I'll just try and keep the trailer relatively full as we go through. I am going to skip ahead after this. We're going to get to the end of winter in this video pretty much. It's because I'm bored of winter. Some of the sheep are almost ready to lamb. They're very early, it's still winter. So putting in the basic pastures for sheep into this field, we're going to turn that into a sheep field. For some reason it wouldn't let me touch the water point until I moved some sheep in. I'm sure in the past I've been able to do that beforehand because I did it on the West Texas playthrough, but I'm just going to move about half the sheep across. That will ensure that we don't end up with the pen full and losing some lambs. I think I'll keep the other sheep pen because it looks nice. We could sell that off now and maybe put another basic pasture in and really push up the number of sheep as we go into spring. If we're going to do that, we need to do it soon because they obviously produce all their wool in spring. Time to get them some feed. We're going to use the palletized sheep feed, the Deutsche sheep feed that comes with Maze Plus, just because it's easier. If I can pick the pallets up, which can only just. It seems like a good idea to use these pallets up to get rid of them, basically. And that's those sheep sorted. So next morning we are going to run over and pick up the JCB telly truck and bring that back to the yard. And we also need to get some mineral feed because I've used it all. And if you don't remember, we have a requirement on here with the way the animal food editions is set up to provide mineral feed to the cows. And as I said, I'm not touching the sawmill ever again. It has produced yet more empty pallets, so we might as well take those to the sell point as it's on the way. Pretty much, it's just out of the exit on the way out of here. Yeah, the theory behind this was great. The yield of wood chips compared to everything else was tiny. It's made us a load of money, but it's a lot of work, and I guess that's why it makes you a load of money, because it's a lot of work. There's still some bark mulch over here, but I'm just going to leave that. I can't be bothered. But it seems a waste to not use the telly truck. It will be perfect for mucking out the cows because it's so small. And it's quite tight getting into the cow pen. So we'll stick everything on the back of the cane trailer and stop off via the sell point for pallets and go and buy some mineral feed. So yeah, the next video on here will be spring because I've had enough of the winter on here. I want to get through spring and a year of farming on here, and then we're probably going to call it a day because fun stuff is coming on FS22. Hopefully, Maze Plus might not be ready by the time we finish on here, but it's coming. So let's get some mineral feed. We're going to buy about 6 pallets, I think. That should keep us going for a while. And we have the cash. Not sure what else I want to buy on here. Obviously, the farm is pretty well set up, so we'll see. Might look at some more land. If we're going to get actually more sheep, maybe that's what we do. Maybe we move all the sheep out of the sheep pen, put another basic pasture in and really push the sheep up. Not really overly engaged with the horses on here, just kind of letting the horse helper ride them, although it's not because it's a bit broken, and feeding them and making the £6 profit a day. I'm actually tempted to get rid of them as well. I find that a lot with horses in FS19 with seasons, not overly engaged with them. But I'm looking forward to getting into the meat of this, the spring, the organic farm, precision farming. It didn't fall off there. So yeah, it's going to be interesting. Getting some of these pallets off is going to be fun because obviously we can't use the big bag lifter when they're stacked too high. At least not with this, it won't have the lift capacity. We can get a couple off and then we'll probably grab the pallet forks and the Ford to see if that can do the job. If not, we might have to get the Fendt over, which is obviously a bit bigger and has a big weight on the back. Nope, no joy. Let's grab the Fendt. This should do it. Only just. These pallets of feed are heavy. I guess it makes sense, the bags of dense mineral feed. And yeah, like a pro. That would have been another way of doing it, I guess, because we can use the telly truck now. Anyway, thanks for watching, folks. So next video on here will be in spring. Trying to do about 1 a week of these. Like, subscribe, comment, and I'll catch you next time on Bergisch Land.